My fiancé wanted me to be converted before our marriage and he called his family to gang up on me. Now he's crying on my porch because I am converting my status to single. I and my fiancé Todd, 41, met over a decade ago, and we have a mutual friend group. We started dating last year and got engaged last month. Generally speaking, he treats me like a queen. He spoils me a lot, and I always appreciate it. He's usually respectful and kind, communicative and patient with me. This started to change once the ring was accepted. I must be clear, I don't care much about getting married. I am perfectly fine with not. My parents aren't married, but have been in love and have been together for over 40 years. My siblings are all but one unmarried but in seemingly happy relationships, each at least 5 years old. However, Todd is Christian and believes that two people eventually need to get married to be happy. We talked about it at length both before we were a couple and after we started dating. I was clear that I didn't want or need a ring, but if it's important to a partner I come to love, then whatever. I will do a small wedding. He was overjoyed when he proposed, and I said yes in front of pretty much everyone in our little world. However, I later said that I didn't seem excited enough, and it felt like I didn't want to marry him. I said I loved him and if he wanted a marriage, then sure, but to say I want to marry? I mean I know he wants to, and if that's what he wants, and since it doesn't matter to me either way, the math was easy. Let's get married. I said it sort of jokingly to lighten the mood, but he didn't like that at all, and nearly every other day, he would find a way to ask me if I really wanted to marry him, or he would simply that he felt like I don't. I suggested couples therapy as it seems to really be on his mind and troubling him, and he said he's done therapy before and doesn't need to do it again. Then last week, on our usual date night, he said he had something really big to ask me, call it a favor if that makes it better, and asked me to come to his church and get baptized. I stared at him. I am an atheist and have been since I was in my 20s. He has known that for years, and we've always been respectful of each other's beliefs. I told him I couldn't do that. Baptism is supposed to be sacred and with a true heart for that faith, and I simply would be a liar if I said I wanted to live for his God because I frankly don't. He argued that it's just a splash of water and some words, and since he wants it before our wedding and I don't care about religion either way, this should be easy. I refused again, explaining that I do care about religion. My majors were world religions and anthropology. I care a lot, and it would be dishonest to his God and our community for me to dedicate my life to his religion outwardly but not inwardly. I said it felt disrespectful to his faith and the people who truly live it. He got angry with me. Oh, so you're okay, disrespecting me, though, and when I asked what he meant, he said to drop it and change the subject. I pressed more, but he raised his voice. I said drop it, loud enough for others to turn and look at us. He'd been robotic around me since. Days up in his study all night, sleeps on his study couch, goes to every service and event/gathering his church has, most weekday nights and Saturday morning as well as Sunday, and has been inviting me to every single one. He hadn't done that since we started dating. He did it, and then I said I respect his beliefs and would go to a wedding, christening, or baptism but not a simple service or event. When he asked me just a few minutes ago tonight, I reminded him of the above, and he just dropped into our couch and sobbed, and when I went over to comfort and talk to him, he pushed me away and left, muttering something about running late for service. His sister Esther texted me to ask what happened, and I gave a summary. She texted back that I was being a jerk and one service wasn't going to make me burst into flames, and it was important to Todd. So am I being a bonehead? Am I crazy too? Think that this pressure is a deal breaker? I do love him, but this version of him is not only a stranger to me but a weight on me. But aren't people supposed to work through that hard poop to get on in a relationship? Update. He texted me a few minutes ago saying he wants to have a serious talk when he gets home. I explained that my best friend was over, so it would have to wait, and he replied, no, tell her to leave, give her my love, but this is serious. I told him no, indeed, he can go home to his parents, and he is welcome to come in, pack a bag, and leave because Bess is here for me right now, and I need her here for me right now. He hasn't responded. I guess he and his sister gave his parents an alternate version of events because they came by that night anyway, all of them, his mom, dad, sister Esther, and him. He had a key, so he just walked in as Bess and I were drinking on the couch watching Netflix. I asked what he was doing there, and his family entered the room behind him. I asked what was going on. The way he looked at me is unexplainable, but his mom pushed him and just yanked me into a very aggressive hug. She said that they were here to talk as a family and have a family meeting. Then, she told Bess she needed to leave. Bess refused. His mom turned to me to ask me to have Bess leave. I refused. It's late, and I'm not in a state to talk about anything else. Please leave. It devolves into passive-aggressive disapproval that I won't take guidance from the man I plan to marry. His parents, his father is a pastor, sat down to give me what felt like a whole pre-planned spiel about how I am an adult and need to act like one, and kicking a man out of his home for doing the right thing is a tantrum. His dad once even said that he was so disappointed in me and would be telling my father, also a pastor, about this. Gotta be honest, I was dumbfounded for 85% of this and then finally, I guess it was the booze, started to laugh and told them to get out. His dad refused, called me volatile and suggested I get counseling. I told him this is my house, and I will call the police and get the F out. It was the first time I cussed in front of them. Pearls were clutched, I was called trashy, and Bess held her phone like, okay, I am calling the cops. She asked you to leave. I heard his dad say, you're not marrying that, as they left, and they muttered other hurtful things, making a whole thing of them being sad and disappointed by me. They left. Todd packed a bag and left with them. He continued to text me invites to services. It will help you. He stated that he was concerned about me and my chosen path, that his parents aren't sure he should marry me but he loves me and wants what's best for me. I told him I needed space and to leave me alone but he kept texting. I said that the wedding was off on Sunday. When I got home from running errands, he was on the porch crying. He had a handwritten letter that he wanted to read to me, but I said absolutely not and told him to go away. He kept asking me to think about what I was doing and how my choices affected more than just myself and more. I pointed to my doorbell cam and said I had footage of me repeatedly asking him to leave and Bess was recording the night his parents and sister and he ganged up on me. Go away. He threw his hand up like he was going to strike me, and I just screamed. I didn't even mean to. It was so sudden and scared me. He went to start apologizing but a neighbor came out to see what was happening and he just left. I texted him never to come back ever. He is no longer welcome. I will mail his stuff to his parents but he is no longer welcome on my property ever again. He tried to apologize, but I no longer care to hear any of his words. He left his written letter, and I have read it. So has Bess. She keeps telling me it's just manipulation, but it breaks me. The locks will be changed tomorrow. Bess is helping me pack his poop. His father is picking up his stuff tonight, and I am just sitting here replaying the past week and a half in my head over and over. I know it's pathetic but I am shattered. I haven't been able to really sleep yet, and I feel like I don't even reside in my own body anymore. Just going through the motions. Bess is staying with me. I've been getting texts and social media comments about how disgusting I am, like my notifications just went insane over the weekend. This is just a nightmare and I'm unsure how to wade through this.